What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Car Guy podcast. I'm your host, Pete, the Car Guy. Thank you again for joining me on such a beautiful Saturday morning. We got so much to talk about today. We got some great news to share too. So definitely want to kick this off. And you know how we do. We drop it with the What's Going On segment. Here we go. Talk to me so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Yeah, every time I do this, one of the things I look at when I'm filming, because I can see the feedback as I'm filming this with you guys, is trying to see to make sure the speed that the music is going versus how I'm dancing matches, because it almost seems like it doesn't. So I'm just like, oh my God, I hope I'm with the music. But anyway, listen, just want to drop some great subscription news. We are at 39 subscriptions now. So thank you guys very much. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Every little bit is appreciated. Just wanted to tell you that. We definitely want to keep this growing and going, just FYI. So for those that have subscribed, please share this with family members and friends so that we can grow the subscription base as much as possible. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay. Just to let you know, the website is still up and running right now. It is going to go through a major construction soon, but that website address is www.lifeofacarguy.com. Please check it out. In addition to other pics and videos, we have a certified blog running through that as well. And I blog on a weekly basis. So I definitely want you guys to check out the blogs, read them, comment on them, all those things, so we can continue to build this. Because we're trying to build up everything, getting ready to add some sponsors here real soon to really grow this thing even more. So just FYI. We got a great announcement. The Take the Wheel segment is going to launch on next Saturday, March the 7th. The time that is going to drop is to be determined. I'm going to be on site with my first guest, and I'll tell you more about him later on, and I'll kind of drop some little hints later. But anyway, just want you guys to be prepared for that. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great interviews. And we're also going to see some really cool cars at the same time. So it's going to be fun. Now, just FYI, the Take the Wheel segment will not replace the podcast or not be shown in the midst of the podcast. That's going to be separate. So we're really trying to grow this and diversify this even more with other options and segments that play to the interest of the car guy and the car guy segments. Okay. So just FYI. So let's get to the industry in the streets news. So this one was pretty cool. It's kind of near and dear to my heart a little bit. So the auto news publication called Auto Week reported yesterday, Friday, February 27th, that the Japanese automaker Honda has been rated the number one auto manufacturer in EPA fuel ratings for the year 2025. And what's great about this is that this particular segment rates the entire auto manufacturer industries based on their entire fleet. And Honda leads the way with averaging 31 miles per gallon across its entire product offering, which is amazing. And the actual mark of 31 miles per gallon is almost 4 miles per gallon higher than the industry average. And this data that was collected represents the entire full lineup of gasoline powered vehicles that are also offering electric vehicles as well. So just to kind of give you a segment on that. So rounding out the top five in these categories are going to be Hyundai at number two. They were rated at just under 30 miles per gallon. Kia, number three, rated at 29.2. And then tied, a three-way tie for fourth place included Toyota, Nissan, and BMW, which was a surprise view of that. And, one of the things I've learned in the industry is that there are a lot of German automakers that are very, very fuel efficient. So surprising for a lot of different reasons, just because of the segment. But BMW is definitely up there, which is pretty cool. And at number five, Subaru came into the place with 28.7 miles per gallon. So Just FYI, really nice little tidbit there, and it's really pretty cool. Some of the things that I've learned about Honda and why it's near and dear to my heart, Honda has been one of my favorite automakers for many years. I've owned a lot of different Honda Accords and a Civic. Honda's fuel efficiency leadership has kind of been in place for a long time now. When the EPA, and that stands for Environmental Protection Agency, obviously, they started doing the fuel efficiency rankings back in 1976. First year they did it, the Honda Civic ranked number one. So Honda's been a part of the fuel efficient ratings for quite some time. So it's great to see that. It's great to see that, even though we're kind of moving into autonomous driving and electric vehicle usage, there's still a lot of high marks showing for various automakers with respect to gasoline powered vehicles as well. I don't really see that going away 100%, frankly, but it's good to see that automakers are still trying to drive the industry in terms of fuel efficiency. So anyway, so we're going to talk about the topic of discussion. So last week I told you we were going to introduce the car series. So I'm going to talk about vehicles that I have owned throughout my 20, 30 plus years of being in the car industry. Kind of give you some little background knowledge of how they worked and a little bit of storytelling behind a few of them. So I got to start with the very first vehicle that I ever owned, and it was passed down from my mom and dad. It was a 1983 Toyota Tercel wagon. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this vehicle, but imagine a kind of like a cake car, two-tone colored brown like car, kind of small, wheels, not more than like maybe 12 or 13 inches, um, and just a little hatchback kind of deal. I remember when I first saw this car, and this is surprising I can remember this. I was at Greenville Nursery School back in Roanoke, Virginia. That's my hometown. And I remember, we could look out the window and look at the little drive aisle where we could see our parents drive up. And I remember looking at the window around the time when my parents were supposed to show up and pick me up. And I was expecting to see my dad's red Datsun truck because that's what he used to drive. And I remember seeing this little brown wagon. I was like, "What is that?" And I saw my parents get out of it. I was like, "Okay, whose car is that?" And I remember getting into it for the first time. My parents had my car seat. I was sitting in the back, obviously, because I was that young. And I just remember the two-tone colors on the inside and just kind of seeing it and seeing that it had a big old hatch in the back. And one of the things I remember when I was a little kid is that I saw this car that had two shift knobs, and I've never seen that before back then. So you had the regular gear shift, and the gear shift was about as big as a ruler, 5 speed kind of deal, where you had to throw it in reverse way back over here. And then the smaller gear shift was for the four-wheel drive. So basically, what you had to do was put it in, I believe you had to put it in neutral, put the brake on, and then you'd have to do the second gear in a certain way to put it into four-wheel drive to lock the differential. And so I remember doing that. And then I remember several weeks later, we brought my little brother home from the hospital. He was born like late 1984. He was born in December of 1984. And I remember bringing him home in that vehicle. And from the various trips that we used to take to Warrenton, Virginia, and then to Woodstock, New York, that was the longest drive we've ever been in that vehicle. And let me tell you, that was a long drive from Roanoke, Virginia to Woodstock. That was crazy long. But anyway, I remember when my mom gave me the keys to the car. It was around my senior year. I remember the first thing I did was I drove to my buddy Jarvis's house. And Jarvis lived in Botetourt County, which is about 30 minutes outside of Roanoke, the city of Roanoke. And I remember getting on the highway, getting on 581 and then I-81 to get to his place. And with this vehicle, it only had the speedometer only went up to 65 miles an hour. So while I'm driving on the highway and I'm all the way in the right lane because they can only go 65 miles. I can just remember the RPMs revved up all the way up to 5, and I'm just like, Jesus, like, is this thing gonna explode? But it was that kind of low powered vehicle, but it was a lot of fun. It was fun to drive. It was one of the first vehicles that I learned to drive a manual in. And my senior year, I remember going back and forth to school. I lived in Roanoke City, and my school, William Fleming, was about maybe 15 minutes away from my house. And I remember I had to go up this steep hill, from my neighborhood to get near to where my school was. And I had to get like a running start to go up this hill because if I didn't, I was going to stall out on the hill. That car was that much underpowered. But anyway, it was a fun car. It was a real fun car. It was great to learn on. One of the things I loved about that Toyota and two other Toyotas I owned, which were both Camrys. One was a '98 Camry and a 2001 Camry. They had really nice soft rides. The gas mileage was very good on those vehicles, and they last a long time. So, for most of you out there who know about the brand, you know that the Toyotas are synonymous with great fuel efficiency, longevity, and kind of like a soft, cushy ride. And some models weren't as powerful as others, but they were a really good car. It was a good car. So I'm gonna start doing like car ratings on the vehicles that I talk about. So as far as like longevity and fuel efficiency, I would give it a 5 car rating, 5 car being the top, 1 car being the worst. So 5 car rating as far as fuel efficiency. Color and style, I got to go 2 to 3 for that, just because. But it was my first car, so beggars can't be choosers. And then, of course, as far as performance, I got to go a little lower than that. I mean, you got to go maybe the 2 car rating. So overall, I probably give the '83 Tercel maybe about an average of 3. So, but it was a good car. It was a good car to start off with, and that's all I can say. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the drop a dime segment. Thank you guys for sending comments and information to my email address. The website, like I said, that feature's been turned off right now for what we call the Ask a Car Guy segment. We're going to redevelop that soon. So we're using the email lifeofacarguy@gmail.com. Excuse me, the life of a car guy @gmail.com. So continue to send comments and questions there. One of the things I have a particular prospect that is interested in buying a car, but also she's looking to sell her car. She sent me some information there. So I'm definitely going to get with her. She was a referral. So I'm definitely going to get with her to talk about that. I may start doing that as a part of my podcast as well, in terms of giving insight that I give to individuals and introduce it to the Life of a Car Guy podcast as well. So just FYI. So blog drop, we got the blogs going, guys. Definitely check them out there as well. I got some new topics coming up there, so definitely want you to check those out. And just kind of a quick sign off before we go. Need everyone to continue to like and subscribe to the podcast. Please send or at least talk to at least 5 other people to do the same thing so we can continue to grow this thing. And of course, on the blogs, like and subscribe there as well too. And like I said, we try to grow this thing of ours, right? This is our thing, and we want to continue to make this happen. So real quick before we sign off, I want to extend a very special happy birthday, excuse me, to one of my special patrons who has been a part of this subscription, as well as the blog and as well as other ventures I've done before. Dr. Lolita Foster, happy, happy, happy birthday. I understand that you celebrated your 30th birthday again yesterday. So I know your family's taking great care of you. I know Mr. Benjamin Foster, who's near and dear to my heart as well, is looking out for you and taking care of you. So on behalf of the Car Guy and the Life of a Car Guy podcast, I just want to tell you happy, happy birthday. All right. Anyway, guys, we're at the end, so I appreciate you riding with me. Want to just say praise God because he's always got the wheel. And though we may not always agree, it's important that we always show respect. All right. So stay up, and I'll see you on the road, guys. Have a great weekend.